Fire, fire, fire.
All right, let's watch it. How an iconic relationship turned into a dumpster fire overnight. The breakup of Kide and Tenzi. Kaide? Okay, whatever. I'm sorry.
What happens when one of the most well-known and iconic couples in content creation and esports history decides to abruptly break off their relationship after 6 years of being together?
I'm sure they're gonna have a very normal response. Putting your public information out there. Who? I know. I don't know these people either. Let's just watch it.
More importantly, what happens when they tell their millions of followers that it was completely mutual, amicable, and had no drama whatsoever? Well, I'm glad you asked. Many would refuse to believe the narrative that this was amicable, accusing the woman in the relationship, Kaide, of cheating, going as far back as 5 months before the breakup, and outlining how she had unfollowed her best friend on social media because she was coincidentally hanging out with her ex-boyfriend. Hell, even before the breakup announcement was made, fans were already aware that they had broken up because they weren't even wearing their engagement rings on.
This is what I'm saying. People are super parasocial. Look, I checked out now, and she doesn't either in the latest Sakura stream
anymore. And somehow we'd find out that there was a Reddit post made 2 years ago accusing Kaide of cheating on her boyfriend at a convention when she was there alone. And if that wasn't enough, we had a self-admitted pedophile enter the ring. This is when he'd tell the whole world that back in 2023 he had a one-on-one conversation with Kaide in which she admitted to wanting to experiment with other men. Guys, this is easily one of, if not the messiest breakup I've ever witnessed in my life. And it's crazy to think that this all stemmed from something that was meant to be amicable. It's riddled with misinformation and extremely dangerous theories. So I thought we had to talk about it in an objective manner so that way you can make your own opinion in this matter.
I saw all these posts blowing up in real time. Like, this isn't even like an original post. This is a quote retweet of a post, and it has 1 million views. This thing went into the stratosphere. I had no idea who these people were.
If you like my videos and want to see exclusive content, then make sure to check out my stack.com page in the description and the pinned comment. And now, without further ado, let's get right into this mess. Alright, so first things first, who are the two people involved in this disastrous incident? Let's start off with Tens. Tens would start playing the game Counter-Strike at the age of 3. And by the time he would reach his teenage years, he'd be playing at the pro level, starting his journey in 2017.
Wait. He started playing when he was 3?
Alright, so first things first, who are the two people involved in this disastrous incident? Let's start off with Tens. Tens would start playing the game Counter-Strike at the age of 3.
Yo, his dad put him down into the chair and it was like, yo, my child, go ahead, play this game.
And by the time he would
I think he meant 13. No, I think he said 3. I think he would have corrected if it was 3, buddy.
Reach his teenage years, he'd be playing at the pro level, starting his journey in 2017. And by 2019, he would have made it big by signing with one of the biggest esports teams in North America, Cloud9. But even with that in mind, as a player, he wasn't really able to stand out in the pro scene. That would all, of course, change in the year 2020. This is when Valorant would launch its closed beta access. And even though it wasn't really intentional, everything had lined up perfectly to drive hype for this game to levels never seen before.
Yeah.
It was barely a month after lockdowns had begun.
I remember a lot of my friends that used to play Counter-Strike, they really wanted a key and they just couldn't fucking get one. People were selling, I think, keys for like $5,000. It was insane. The underground market was disgusting.
And in the majority of the world because of COVID-19,
like
and the way you'd be able to get a key is by watching a stream on Twitch.
I remember that.
The caveat though was that there was no guarantee you'd get it. You would just have to watch a stream for as long as possible, and after every hour of watch time, you get a very small chance.
Very, very dumb and very, very almost like abusive in a way. Yeah, watch her thing to maybe get a chance at a key. It's like, bro, how is that fucking fair? Like a bot can get it, hello?
Of getting a key. This is why every streamer imaginable on the platform began playing this game and was in the category, sometimes going to sleep and rerunning old clips just so that people can watch. It was an infinite money glitch. and everyone wanted a key. However, Tens didn't really have to worry about getting a key. He'd have access to the closed beta on day one, just like many other pros, and would play the game a lot. And so when the first iteration of ranked mode would come out, he was already prepared. And due to this, he would become—
He was prepared when he started when he was 3. That's crazy, honestly.
the first player globally to ever reach the Radiant rank, the highest rank in competitive Valorant. Think of it like Challenger in League of Legends or top 500 in Overwatch. This legendary accomplishment guaranteed the fact that the entire community was going to be aware of who he was. And so, due to Valorant's incredible hype in 2020, by 2021, many esports organizations would start making their own teams
COVID
for the
really
competitive
blew this
scene.
shit up,
One of the
man.
biggest and most successful ones would be Sentinels, and they would recruit Tens immediately. By that same year, he was seen as the game's superstar. If he had played the game in any way competitively or cared about its competitive scene, then you would have known who he was. It was that big of a deal. And I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. During his Counter-Strike days, he would never have more than a few hundred viewers.
That's still
By the
actually
time
a lot.
Valorant had come out,
That's actually still a lot. For pre-2020 numbers, a couple of hundred viewers is actually really good for like one game.
he would reach Radiant as the first player globally, he would gain tens of thousands of followers and thousands of concurrent
There's
viewers.
a faker
By
of
the time he'd be
Valorant?
signed
Yeah,
to
that's
Sentinels and would
crazy.
become a household name, he would gain hundreds of thousands of followers and would get an
Holy!
insane viewership. He was
What?
absolutely on fire. At the same time, though, if you knew anything about Tens, then you'd know that he had a
He
girlfriend,
worked hard.
Kaide. They were together since before Valorant even came out, ever since 2019. They had dated for a few weeks and moved in together when they were both just 17 years old. And just like how Tens blew up to astronomical levels,
pretty young,
Kaide would also
17.
experience her own form of success by collaborating with him. These clips from their collabs would go absolutely mega viral on all
It's crazy. I have no idea who these people are. I am like so VTuber, like loser coded. I don't know who the fuck they are. No offense. I'm just in a different sphere.
platforms, showing a couple that's absolutely in love with each other while also getting to see Tens, the #1 Valorant player, teaching his girlfriend how to play Valorant when she's never really played first-person shooters before. Many of these clips would be posted on Kaide's personal TikTok, and they'd get tens of millions of views. She has over 2 million followers and 100 million likes on this platform. And it goes without saying that some of her top clips on her page always involved Tens. She would start streaming in November of 2020, a few
She started with 2K? Man, that's insane.
months after Valorant's closed beta would launch. And within her first month, she would have an average view count of
She barely
2,800
streamed
viewers, as well as
58
gaining
hours in a month?
75,000 followers.
Yeah,
Her
the
fame was
Tens effect.
instant, but it wouldn't stop there. She'd keep
Wow.
growing at an insane pace. People couldn't get
Yeah.
enough of her and Tens. I mean, look at this video, right? Tens versus Kaide Valorant 1v1 rematch. 11 million views. There will be
Oh
an
my god, these people must be the reason why there's so many fucking e-girls and e-boys trying to fuck each other in the Valorant lobbies and shit. They want this so bad.
insane amount of Clipper channels taking clips from their streams of their interactions, getting millions
Yeah,
of
the
views
king
as
and
well.
queen
They
of
were
Ekans, I'm not
everywhere.
even
Saying that these
joking.
two were one of the biggest content creator couples on the planet was not an understatement at this point. So while Tens was at the top esports
They're the
team for
reason Valorant
Valorant,
is a
Kaide
dating
would get
sim.
her own
I think there's always been a concept of like being a dating sim in every game. I just think they probably like they're like the king and queen, yeah. Created this meta. I think that this has been around for a really, really long time, but I do think this, like, the social media parasocialness definitely amped it up to 1 million. Yeah, like bot lane in League of Legends, fucking e-kittens, tanks and healers in any MMO, like, hello? That's always been a thing, but, like, I do think this has definitely, like, this concept is probably just blown up.
opportunities as well,
Oh,
joining
100 Thieves, I know
100
that.
Thieves, one of the most well-known content creator orgs on the planet. And while
Yep.
yes, some people would argue that she could have never made it this far if it wasn't for her boyfriend, it's not like she ever said the opposite. She understood that she was in a very lucky position and would say so herself in an interview with 100 Thieves. Watch.
A few other clips went viral. It was kind of like an overnight thing where a few thousand people started watching me, and I would just like talk, and Tyson and I would just do some like challenge videos and other things. And I'm very thankful for
people
the
really
situation
want
I'm in
the
where
cooking
I
stream.
didn't like grind those hours like a lot of streamers do that totally deserve this. I'm not saying I necessarily like deserve this, but it's been a journey, and it's been definitely like a lot of fun.
This was the perfect storm. A couple going mega viral with everyone being completely obsessed over their relationship, all while staying wholesome and humble. Truly the epitome of content creator relationships. So at this point, as an avid fan, what else could you possibly ask for? Them tying the knot, of course. Around summer 2022, they would announce their engagement after having kept it secret for 8 months. The internet at this announcement, of course, exploded. Finally, this
wow, dude. Holy shit. Over people getting married. Yeah, I don't know, man.
perfect couple is getting married. And I mean, you have to understand by this point, these two were seen as the ideal
Holy
relationship
shit,
for so many
3,500
people. I'm talking
comments.
millions. And to many, they were the personification of their goals when it came
Yeah,
to
this
finding a
person's
life
social as
partner.
fuck.
In other words, they were perfect and people couldn't get enough of them. However, this image of perfection, of living the perfect life, would end pretty abruptly in 2023. Because you see, barely 6 months after announcing their engagement, Kaide would unfortunately announce to the world that she's been diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia.
that's
In
so
other words,
sad.
cancer. But cancer so aggressive that she only had
25% chance? Cheese and crackers, dude.
a 25% chance of survival
That's
after
so
5 years.
sad.
This was a shock to pretty much anyone, Kaide included. And many couldn't believe that this perfect relationship was now at risk, that they faced danger. They didn't deserve this. The wave of
And again, the parasocialism is crazy.
support from the internet was immense. But it wasn't just strangers wishing her the best, it was also her content creator friends. Many male content creators, including Miskif, yes, I know this aged very badly, would shave their head in support of her because she was going to undergo chemotherapy and was about to lose all her hair. This was a very sweet gesture. However, one content creator
that's a
here
nice
stood
thing to
out,
do, but
and it was 39 Daff. She was the only content creator
Miss
friend
Queen,
of Kaide
bro.
who was a woman that shaved her entire head in support
Oh,
of her.
shit.
And the reason why I'm highlighting this is because it's very significant. When you're a guy and shave your head, you don't really care. You just wait a month and your hair's back. You can wear a cap, you can wear a beanie. It's all good. When you're a woman, though, shaving your entire head off like
I talked about this like, what it was like 2 hours ago? Yeah, it sucks. No, I totally get it.
this is
Yeah, it's a
like
nice
losing a
gesture
part
for
of yourself.
your-
And yet here she was
your
doing
friend.
it effortlessly for her friend. It really showed just how amazing Kaide was. Not only was she the perfect girlfriend, she also had the perfect friends. For months, people would keep up with Kaide and her updates. And by September 2023, many celebrated when she would announce that she was finally done with chemotherapy. Her hair could finally grow back now. She would, however, specify the cancer wasn't completely gone. She would undergo other treatments, but for now, she's happy because she can finally grow her hair back.
Oh, that's
But just
nice.
as things were finally starting to look
Oh,
up,
look at how many views this shit gets. Like, I don't understand. I've never heard of these people. I feel so disconnected. Like, I didn't realize people really cared about these random Valorant streamers that much.
for her, the other person in this relationship was going through their own personal hell. 2023 would be Ten's worst year on record when it came to the esports scene of
Oh,
Valorant.
shit.
This once great player was starting to be seen as overrated, as someone who was taking up a slot in the top team for no reason. His performance was tanking, and the online criticism was reaching unprecedented levels. I mean, look at this video right here. Why everybody hates the face of Valorant, sitting at 1.1 million views.
That's
And I mean, no
crazy.
wonder, right? His fiance had just been diagnosed with a very aggressive form of
That's
cancer.
rough,
and
yeah.
who knows what he was
Maybe
going
his fucking mental was fried, yeah.
through mentally. But even with all of that, he wouldn't give up. He'd persevere, and the next year, in 2024, he'd managed to win his second Valorant World Championship with his team. It seemed like Tens and this
Wow.
current roster were working very well together, and he was back. This is why it was so shocking for the entire
back.
community to see that barely a few months later, on September 2024, he would announce that he wasn't just quitting Sentinels, he was retiring from competitive play. For years, he was seen as the face of Valorant, and there he was, leaving at the top of his
Holy.
game. The Valorant community was in absolute shambles, and many theories were being spread around as to why he
Man.
left, one of them being that he needs to take care of his
Valorant
girlfriend.
shouldn't be
However,
serious,
people
huh?
would ask him why he retired multiple times on his stream, and he would answer it. He was grateful for the competitive scene and what he had experienced, but it wasn't for him anymore. He was losing passion for the game, and on top of that, he wanted to focus on other things in life. It was taking up all his time. And finally,
Yeah,
when it came to the
that's
money,
fair.
he was making way more just streaming, so it didn't really make sense to just focus on a game that you weren't passionate about anymore on the pro level. Additionally, he would make sure
Some people really underestimate how fucking taxing it is to play the same game in and out for like 5+, even 10+ years. and then watching it degrade because like you just don't like it anymore and you're forcing yourself to play it. That's what's actually happening with like League streamers, for example. They like actually don't want to stream League anymore, or at least not as much, and they're trying to diversify their content. I don't blame it at all for this. This is a very common thing.
To mention that in 2023, when he was going through his worst career performance, he was going to quit.
Yeah.
But Kaide told him, please just give it one more year, which made him eventually win his second major. Watch it for yourself.
Believe it or not, I would have retired last year if it wasn't for Kaide. I said to myself, like, I'm just gonna like retire. And Kaide said, no, like, trust me, like, stick it out 1 year just for me. And 2023 was such a low point for like my Valorant career. She like told me straight out that there's only up from here. That was the reason that I have played the 2024 season. Honestly, if it wasn't for Kaide convinced me to do 1 more year, I would have never been a part of the Madrid winning roster. I wouldn't have a redemption within champs and get a top 4 finish within the team. So yeah, it's been an awesome ride.
So there you have it. This was not only a perfect couple, they were both perfect and relatable. They, much like the average person, had issues, they had challenges, but through their power of perfect love, they were able to overcome it together, further reinforcing the fact that they were the perfect standard for any relationship and making many of their fans some that just—
I can already see where this is fucking going. Like, you have your entire relationship, like, up on the screen constantly. You have no privacy whatsoever. Like, I just feel like you're inviting so many bad, like, actors, man.
Found them recently, root for them. By this point, they were bigger than ever. However, after Ten's retirement from the pro scene, the on-stream interactions of this couple would reduce itself significantly. And the last major news that we'd hear from them would be on April 2025 when Kaide would announce that she was done with streaming.
Okay.
Watch.
Alrighty, everyone. I probably won't be back to streaming for a while. Or if you do see me, it'll just be randomly every once in a while. But
okay, that's fair.
yeah,
prerogative.
I'm kind of done with streaming. So bye, guys.
This was definitely sudden, and it did spark some rumors as to why she was doing this. Was she
parasocials are gonna go crazy.
Focusing on something else? Was her cancer getting worse? You see, for most people, they moved on. They watched someone else, they got back to their job, their actual life. But for a number of people, this simply wasn't enough. They wanted more, and they were about to do everything possible to acquire more information about Kaide and Ten's personal lives. And this was partly made possible due to the fact that both Tenz and Kaide associated with a specific friend group that had some extremely and worryingly parasocial fans.
That's the
okay,
part
so
from
here's
the
the deal. For the longest time, when it came to Twitch content creation, the status quo involved 2 major groups of people that controlled most viewership. They were divided between 2 cities in the US, the first one being Los Angeles and the second one being Austin. The latter had OTK. If you were a streamer in Austin of any significant size, you couldn't avoid—
Why is everyone looking at the camera except for Mizqueef, bro? Why is he like this? Like, even NP who's not there and they edited him in. He's looking at the camera, bro. And then Mizqueef is just like looking off to the side, brother.
Associating with these
Even
people. These were the
Baldy's
people
here.
that you worshipped, hoping to get more opportunities out of. They were known as edgy, politically incorrect, and the opposite of being brand friendly. Some of their top creators at the time were Asmongold, Emiru, and Mizqueef, as well as Soda Poppin'. On the other hand, though, in Los Angeles—
offline TV is like the epitome of wholesomeness. I'm sorry, if this is your type of shit, I totally get it. Everybody's got their own thing. They just did not care about like making crude jokes and stuff. Like, they were very sanitized. And that's okay. That's fine. That's okay. I actually really like that everybody has their own thing. You know, like, if you don't have to fucking interact with people that you don't want to interact with.
TV, otherwise known as OTV. This included content creators such as Skara, Pokimane, This Guy's Toast, Lily Pichu, and as you might have guessed, they were the complete opposite of OTK. They were wholesome, very politically correct, and extremely brand friendly. Chances were that if you were a substantial content creator who lived in LA, then this group of friends had to have been in your circle. This is why their channel was called Offline TV and Friends. They very regularly featured people outside of OTV that happened to live in LA that were their friends. And while I'm sure that hanging out out with OTV must have been an amazing experience, you'd very quickly realize that just by associating with them, you were also associating with a small portion of their fan base that was mentally ill and extremely
Oh no.
parasocial. Here's an example. Disguised Toast is one of the more prominent members of OTV. At some point, he would date another content creator by the name of X
Holy honkers!
Chocobars. This was a
Cheese
well-known
and
fact as they would
crackers!
publicly announce it to their community. However, to some people, it simply wasn't enough seeing them interacting on stream. They wanted more. And so in 2018, Disguised Toast would uncover a shocking revelation. There were multiple, not one or two, multiple Discord servers that were actively stalking him and his girlfriend.
Multiple Discord servers? This is what I'm saying, man. This is why you gotta be a little bit more private, man. You can't do this.
Tracking their
You
every
can't
move,
do this,
following
brother.
them, and taking pictures as well as videos of them whenever they would hang out together.
What
Seeing them on
the
stream, interacting in
fuck?
content simply wasn't enough. They wanted to be part of their private lives.
Why?
Every second of their lives was content, whether they liked it or not. It was an egregious breach of their privacy. It absolutely shocked the streaming world at the time. No one deserves this happening to them. The problem was, though, that OTV didn't really know how to set proper boundaries. Being brand friendly and politically correct
Yeah, someone in chat just said, we thought the period tracker was bad. I'm like, these IRL streamers kind of have it like a way worse, don't they? Like, this is like actual stalking. Like, not, oh my god, you're stalking my period and coming into my chat and asking if I'm on my period. Like, you can block those people. You can't block these people in real life that crash your live stream. Yeah, the most you can do is tell them to fuck off or call the police.
comes at a huge cost sometimes. One of them
Yeah.
being the fact that you
This
are very
sucks.
easily bullied by just about anyone who gets a viral post on Twitter. For example, in December 2023, Scar would make a fairly harmless joke to one of his friends. Someone random would make a post on Twitter saying that it was racially charged, that it was disgusting, that it was racist to an entire race of people, and instead of putting his foot down saying, dude, this is my friend and we're comfortable, we have our own boundaries, he apologized as if he murdered someone. One of the first most important rules of content creation is when you give an inch, people will ask for a mile.
Scar, no, man. You used to play League when people would call you slurs. This guy's an OG. He played like League way back when. I remember him. Like back in like 2015, 2014.
And that's exactly how
streams,
OTV
it's, like,
treated their
awesome.
community. They treated them like their overlords, which meant that unfortunately, inevitably,
And now they
boundaries
just
were
take a
never
mile,
going to be
yep.
respected. This is where the subreddit OTV Girls Feet comes. Wait, no, that's the wrong subreddit. Wait.
I'm starting to be thankful that like all we have is a period tracker. Yeah, I don't know. People need to get a fucking grip. People need to get a grip. Tracking your period that it is not as bad as posting pictures of a girl's feet and gooning to them. And then like having an entire subreddit dedicated to it. Like in comparison, this is so much worse in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Whoa. Anyway, this is where the subreddit OTV and Friends Rumors comes in. With over 68,000 weekly visitors, it has become
How many people can visit the Smug Reddit? 96,000? That's a SmugAlana subreddit. We get 96,000. These people get 68,000 just to like parasocially stalk them.
one of the most parasocial forums to keep
Holy
up with
shit.
the OTV gang as well as their friends. These people will watch every single piece of content produced by both OTV and their friends, whether it be
And they
podcasts,
cross-reference
vlogs,
shit?
streams, all in the hopes of finding clues or hints about what their friends are up to. If a streamer's on a random
hell
podcast,
no.
they'll watch it. If that
Oh,
streamer hints that, I don't know, they
hell
went
no.
on a trip with another streamer from OTV, they would come to this subreddit, make a post about it, and theorize as to what that trip might have been, who might have been there, what could they have done. And that's when the rumors truly start spreading like wildfire. They pretty much tracked your every move. So it was only natural that they'd find it extremely
What is this Pepe? It's like ripping its eyelids out. Wait, that is a good one actually.
suspicious that Kaide, at the end of December 2025, would private her entire Instagram page. On January 3rd, someone would make a post saying, Tens and Kaide broke up late
that is very
2025, early
strange, huh?
2026. Little Birdie told me that they split a few days back. Kaide hasn't said or confirmed anything, she went MIA and deleted all pictures on her Instagram. Rip to everyone who believed in their love, if they're not getting back together. Someone would ask, who's your birdie? Another proof? To which that person would say, another streamer that also hangs out with them. I'm watching 10 stream right now and he isn't wearing any rings. He deleted his engagement photos today too. Kaide updated her bio on Instagram to, I'm just currently figuring out my Insta feed lol, don't worry guys, smiley face. But it's weird that Tens deleted their engagement photos. And when it came to her Instagram, this person wasn't lying.
Sussy.
After she had privated all her posts and she
That
saw
is
people starting to make up
very
rumors,
sussy.
she made sure to include this in her bio saying, I'm just currently figuring out my Insta feed, lol, don't worry guys. But by then it was too late, and you'd think that someone as prominent as Kaide would understand that. On January 14th, 2026, this post would randomly go viral on Twitter with over 5 million views.
This is like a month before?
It would simply say, wait, did Tens and Kaide actually break up? This right here was the real super spreader event, prompting others to start posting the same screenshot that was shared on Reddit, showing the fact that Kaide had no more posts, and even going as far as checking Sakura's streams, Kaide's sister, in which she makes an appearance,
She's got no
and they
ring
noticed that she
on.
didn't have her engagement ring on her finger. Over the next
If they didn't, okay, hear me out. I've seen people that don't wear engagement rings or like their wedding rings or what the fuck ever, just because like they don't like how it feels, right? Were they always wearing their engagement rings and then suddenly they stopped? Because that would make a lot more sense. If it's like intermittent, I think that's like a narrative shift. Like, yes, I'm sure wearing gloves over, it doesn't matter. No, I mean like period. Like if you wore them for a long time and then you suddenly stop, that's more of an inclination to that's more like a, for me that's like a, ah damn, that's like crazy. Like what are we doing here? They wore them 24/7. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
2 weeks during January 2026, these rumors would start spreading very quickly. And by January 26th, someone would make this post on the subreddit OTV and Friends Drama, a subreddit similar to OTV and Friends Rumors that also gets a sizable amount of weekly visitors, sitting at 51,000. It would say, recent rumors regarding a potential breakup didn't come from nowhere. And here they had 5 points. The first one being, initially at first, Kaide completely cleansed her Insta feed. Some people say that she removed the engagement post first and then everything on her page after.
That is very sussy that you remove everything.
Can't confirm, however. The second point, Tens had also removed...
Again, I'm reading this and it's like very parasocial, but it's like you're posting everything publicly.
Every post except one with Kaide on Instagram. The engagement post was also unpinned from his Twitter profile. Edit, the last post with Kaide has now been deleted. The third point, Tens had unfollowed her on Instagram a month ago and then refollowed her a bit after. Can't confirm if the same had happened on Twitter. The fourth point, Tens had spent the holidays alone. Kaide was in Vancouver. They had always, the past years prior, spent the holidays together with their families in Canada.
That's very suspect. That is very weird. Unless there's some sort of obligation for work, I guess, but that is very weird.
And finally, the fifth point...
The problem, these relationships are part of the brand. Yes, I would honestly argue that this is on... Like, the fact that you're selling, basically, your relationship to parasocial people... Like, yeah, obviously this is not exactly an amazingly comfortable feeling that people, like, care this much, but it's like, you kind of did it to yourself.
Neither Tens or Kaide have been wearing their engagement rings in the past month.
Constantly talking
they had
about
always been wearing their engagement rings on stream for the past 4 years. This is probably the biggest evidence something happened. Since the rumor blew up a bit on Twitter, Tens and Kaide have not publicly confirmed or denied anything. Tens, a few days ago, since recently coming from a break, said he has some things to figure out. Tens was streaming himself playing Valorant with Kaide on December 7th and then took a break and returned to streaming on the 17th with no engagement ring that he hasn't worn since. If they did indeed break up or go on a break, something happened in those 10 days. Also, considering the brief Instagram unfollow from Tens around the same time span, whatever happened in those 10 days might have ended what was nearly a 7-year relationship.
Rough, that sucks.
This post would get a lot of upvotes, over 300 comments, and eventually would be deleted due to the incredible attention it was getting. People would try to rummage clips from past streams to confirm these theories. On his December 7th stream, he not only was wearing his ring, he was also on a
Jesus Christ.
call with Kaide where she was asking him, hey, can you play the game I love? And he'd be saying, when we move.
I'm I'm telling you, I think the detective work that some people fucking go through could put the FBI to shame. I truly believe this is actually unironically insane.
Which made it seem like they were going to
How
move
do you have
somewhere
this much
together. They were going to move to
time?
a different house. But then when he came back on December 17th, he wasn't wearing a ring and he was saying, "When I move," signaling that he wasn't moving with her anymore. But let's take a
they
step
think
back for a
they already
second. Let's go
broke
back to the
up.
initial post we saw from January 3rd, 2026 about this person and their little birdie. One parasocial fan would say, "I don't know, man, is Kaide dating John? 39 Daft's ex?
Who?
Look at this VOD.
Man,
It's at
I'm-
37 minutes,
I'm not
15
terminally
seconds.
online enough,
This
I
would be
guess.
a timestamp from an almost 12-hour stream."
Y'all putting fucking VTuber fucking fans to shame, brother. All these fucking normies all saying, "Oh my god, parasocials on VTubers, they're so crazy. Period trackers." Bitch, you found a fucking timestamp out of a 12-hour stream to cross-reference like a schizo post.
I'm telling you, man, you don't want to mess with
Are you
parasocial
serious?
fans. In it, we can see Foosley, someone who's known to be in the OTV and Friends circle of friends, talking about a trip she had
Yeah, maybe
with
we're
Kaide
the
and another
normies, right,
man
chat?
named John. The stream would be on January 19th, 2026, and the trip itself would be after December 7th, so during the time in which she broke up with Tens. Watch for yourself.
Yes, I was with John, John Choi and Kaide. We went to get what did we get? We got sushi. We got some we got coffee. Yeah, and then it was a good little time.
Yeah, but if it's two girls and one guy, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're together. I don't know. Maybe I have the tisms and I don't understand how social dynamics work, but I feel like two girls and a guy going out to eat doesn't mean that one of them is dating them. Especially if they're all in like an org. I don't know.
It really
I
is
don't know.
incredible to me how in a
He's
12-hour
dating
VOD,
both?
someone just took these
Damn, he
10
a
seconds
player.
to try and prove to the world that their theory is correct. And it was a significant theory. You see, John Choi is none other than 39 Daft's ex. Yes, the same
not
woman
know
who
who
shaved
these
her
people
head
are.
in
It's
support
crazy.
of Kaide's cancer battle. This was also made even more significant because on the OTV and Friends Rumors subreddit, someone would make a post on September 27th, 2025 saying, "Daft and Kaide unfollow each other after Kaide starts hanging out with Daft's ex, John Choi." This post would contain a picture of both
Holy
Kaide and John
shit.
hanging out
The-
in some
Do
island.
people actually track like who unfollows who and when? There's people that do that in their spare time?
And this had gotten
Never
very
in my life have I
dangerous.
looked.
Because when it came to the parasocial
Yes.
viewers, they didn't need proof that both Kaide and
This
Tens
is
broke
so
up. They already
beyond
had
me.
it. They had already moved on as to finding a reason why this breakup happened, why this perfect couple separated, and they were already convinced that it was because Kaide cheated. To them, there was enough proof. Why
Holy.
else would 39 Daft and Kaide unfollow each other when they literally were the closest friends? And so, barely a few weeks after these rumors had truly caught on fire, many of these parasocial viewers would be extremely vindicated once Kaide finally speaks out on what's going on between her and
Gasoline on the fire. I'm ready.
What would follow after would be one of the most catastrophic incidents involving a public couple breaking up.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
On February 8th, 2026, Kaide would post a statement saying, "Hey everybody, Tyson and I feel ready to share some personal news." Tyson being Tens. "We've actually been broken up for quite some time now. Toward the end of our relationship,
Ooh, the schizo rats were probably right.
we came to a realization that wasn't easy to accept. We had stopped growing as individuals. For most of our relationship, we did everything together. Work together. Hobbies and interests together. Pretty much everything together. We've even joked in the past that although we were together for 6 years, it felt like at least 30. We moved in together just weeks after meeting, and from ages 17 to 24, that was all we knew. Over time, it became clear that we needed space."
Can I just say something really quick? I think the hyphens, this probably got ran through an AI filter or something. I don't know. I hate that like nobody used to use these fucking hyphens until AI started becoming a thing. Like literally nobody, almost nobody.
to grow into our own people separately.
Yeah, the M
We know
dash,
the
whatever
internet
the
often
fuck.
looks
I
for
don't know
the
what it's called.
T, but the truth is simple. We grew apart. There was no wrongdoing, no resentment, and no single event that caused this. We still deeply care about each other and genuinely want the
I
best
think they
for one
wrote it
another.
and then they
We're
put
also
it
incredibly
through
grateful for the time and life we
AI.
shared together. Thank you for respecting our privacy. She would then reply to herself with an image of tens, writing the
Why? Why? What does... Do you really have to do this? I'm sorry, what?
statement on paper saying this was us cooking it up at the park today.
Cooking
LMAO.
it
And I can already
up!
predict the comments because of the use of M dashes in the tweet. Don't
Oh my god. Yeah, of course.
piss me
the
off.
M
You didn't use
dashes,
AI.
yeah.
Tens, on the other hand, wouldn't say anything. He would just change his profile picture to a lonely
The sad penguin looking at the mountain.
penguin and would simply retweet the
Blink if
statement
you
that
need
Kaede
help,
had
brother.
made. Now look, they were trying to be lighthearted, humorous even. They really wanted everyone to know that there was no problems. This was amicable, there was no tea, no controversy, and they simply wanted to move on.
Of
The
course.
problem though was that, as I said, people had already made up their minds. They knew about this breakup, but now they wanted to know why. And this whole idea that this was amicable, that there was no resentment or any
5.3
issues,
million
that simply
views.
wasn't gonna cut
Holy
it.
shit.
This post would end up getting over 54 million views with over 6,800
That's the one
replies.
I
And
saw,
I
yep.
can tell you right now, a huge chunk of them are not positive. Many of the top replies were either losing hope in the
Well, you publicly... You make your entire relationship your brand, as one of my chatters said, and then you expect people to, like, not be parasocial when you break up? I don't know, man.
fact that true love exists, or we're just simply shitting on Kaede. This is the most liked
Yeah.
reply other than Kaide's own reply, saying, so he stuck by you during tough times and when it got better you broke up with him? That's crazy. Or how about this one? Welcome to the gym, Tens. Oh, and of course we can't forget that one. Kaede
gym
wants a hoe
routine.
phase. She had just posted this post, but the rumors were running so rampant, people already made up their minds that she got bombarded with unprecedented hate. These, of course, were only the replies. The quote tweets were a completely different
Holy
story.
shit.
Like this one, with almost 1 million views and 31,000 likes. Grew apart from the one person who held it down when you had cancer. How about this one? 2.4 million views, 58,000 likes. Not gonna lie, if I spent 6 years with someone, moved in, did everything with them, and helped them when they got cancer just to break up because she grew out of the relationship, I'm straight up killing myself. Now, of course, this isn't to say that
I'm gonna be honest, if some... This is my personal opinion, some people are not gonna like it. I think I would have like a fucking mental breakdown. I don't know if I'd be sitting there taking pictures with my ex or whatever and putting myself into this position where she's taking pictures of him writing down their cooking up their tweet that they're going to go public with. I wouldn't fucking talk to anybody for like 10 years, I feel like.
everyone was hating on her. Even though they weren't as loud and weren't as numerous, some still sided with her in tens. Like this post saying, Tens and Kaede, we've been dating since we were 17 and grew apart now that we're in our mid-20s and different people. Dumbest fuckers ever. Wow. Poor Tens. Bro, time to hit the gym, bro. Keep your head up. I hate women. She dumped him even though he stayed when she had cancer. Regardless though, for many of the loudest voices on
And I will say that there's no obligation to fucking, like, she went through a mission and he dealt with it and also probably had a massive mental tax. But I do think at the end of the day, this whole, like, public breakup and taking pictures, it makes me think, it makes me feel like this is just, like, for clout. I don't know. You didn't have to do this. Nobody put a gun to your head. You could just be like, yeah, we broke up, and then just leave it at that. Not visit the internet. You want to say, like, oh, I need to go find myself, and, like, we grew apart. Okay, then don't fucking interact. Don't just start fueling the fire. Just go away. Like, yeah, like, it's an ego thing, in my opinion. Yeah, keep this shit private and then don't fucking put more gasoline on the fire. You don't have to defend yourself. Why the fuck do you feel like you need to defend yourself to a bunch of people that obviously were extremely overinvested in your relationship? Why? You can literally walk away.
Twitter. This was about a man who gave
You have millions of dollars, very likely, from your 7-year relationship in your career. I saw the videos. They had videos with millions and millions of views. They had tens of thousands of viewers. You live in LA. You probably have like a decent amount of money. You don't have to go back to working at McDonald's. Why do you feel the need to do this? Just like, I don't know, hunker down for like a year and never talk anybody to anybody ever again? Or do you just want to go back to streaming and then like act like nothing happened? Okay.
Everything to a woman and she let him down, just like every woman does. This post says it very clearly. Men can give a girl the world just for her to say, did I ask you to do that? But hey, Kaide and Tens were truly trying their best here to make this lighthearted and not seem as serious as it is. Kaide would go back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This does not age well. Like, why did you do that? Are you beating people to the punch? Like, it's this defending your ego. Like, we said it before anybody else did. It's like, okay, that's not a W, by the way. It's not. Sorry. I think this is such a weird thing to do.
To the post in which Tens announced that they
I
finally
need to have the
got
last
engaged.
word.
And even though it was
I beat
unpinned,
the trolls,
she made
guys.
a comment saying, this did not age well, comments incoming, LMAO, to which Tens replied with, literally did not age well, skull emoji. This was their attempt to be lighthearted, I guess. But to the people that had a problem with
I just feel like that was so unnecessary.
the
Like, I know that they're going to get hate comments no matter what they post, but like, you're not gonna ease the blow.
up, this felt nasty. With this post saying, imagine making this post and making a joke in the post where your ex posted your anniversary plus engagement. Why? Just leave it. I question your sincerity. It feels nasty. Look, Kaide had been in some controversies before this, okay? Nothing major by any means, but because of her size, it was definitely bigger than you would expect. This, however, was the most hate she had ever received ever since she started online activities. It was absolutely merciless. So much so that barely a day after her post, Tens would take it upon himself to make his own post defending her, saying, hey everyone, I've been seeing a lot of really weird posts about Kaide and me that are creating false narratives and spreading unnecessary hate.
Yeah, I think the lying and shit is horrible. It's just, you guys didn't have to go this far. You're pouring gasoline on the fire at this point.
It's really disheartening to see. We parted on completely
lying's not
mutual
okay.
terms, and we still care deeply about each other. It honestly hurts so much to see her being attacked when we both supported each other through insanely difficult times.
Well, and it doesn't matter that you're making this post. The parasocials and the people that were really over-invested into your relationship aren't going to take your word into account. They've already made up their mind.
I also quit playing pro of my own accord and was never influenced by her to quit. This was a rumor going around, by the way, that he had given her everything, even his pro career, just to support her cancer battle. Anyway, he continues, people's goals can change over time, and that is just what happened with me. In a healthy relationship, there should never be comparisons about who sacrificed more or gave more. That mindset is immature and helps nobody.
That's fair.
All I ask is that
Sure.
you please respect Kaide as a person and respect the decision we made together. This kind of pointless drama is exactly why having a relationship in the public eye can be so draining. She is also still dealing.
Yeah, but you did that. There are plenty of like influencers that get engaged or they get married and they barely talk about it, and then when if it happens that they divorce or break up or whatever, then people get parasocial, but not as parasocial as this. You put your entire life online. Like that was your brand.
With ongoing health issues, which makes the negativity being spread even more heartbreaking and unfair. Thank you for understanding, and once again, please respect our decision. This post would also get an insane amount of attention, naturally, since everyone was talking about it. And I do want to highlight the fact that he was saying she is still also dealing with ongoing health issues. That's because by this point, people were insinuating that she had beaten cancer, and that because she beat it, she was finally ready to
No,
let
she
Tens
didn't.
go from her life after he supported her, when that wasn't true. But even though this hate against Kaide stemmed from people quote-unquote defending Tens, the victim, this post did not help at all. People were not having it. The most liked comment in the replies would say, I'm not saying the hate is justified or anything, but a mutual breakup doesn't actually exist and nobody thinks so. Or
I think this is a fair thing to say purely because like no breakup is like pleasant to anybody. I truly believe that one person is always going to get hurt more than the other. The problem is that generally speaking, people are more inclined to take the side of the guy that fucking basically was like going through his pro career and helping his beautiful wife go through cancer, helping her I think she dumped him. We don't know. Let's just say we don't know. Like, that's your opinion, but we don't know who did who. But one person is always gonna get hurt more than the other. There's no like, oh, we're all fine and dandy. Like, no, this in a relationship, if you break up, even in friendships where there's like two people who are best friends or like really good friends, and one of them stops talking to another, one person is always gonna care more than the other. That's just how humans are.
Or how about this guy? Ten's still protecting her out of love even though she broke his heart. The same person would call her evil and would post a random TikTok comment that pretty much was saying their theory about this. About how he said on stream that he was having a rough week, that he was all alone. Meanwhile, Kaide was hanging out with her sister and friends, making it seem like he was abandoned. There's even one guy here saying, here's your answer, bro. Even a cold-hearted person will have no choice but to say something about this. Linking an image of an AI summary, saying that as part of Kaide's treatment, she underwent a bone marrow transplant, which was successfully performed using donor cells from her partner.
Wait, that's not real.
Tens.
This is what I'm saying. I don't think it's okay to make up shit, man. Don't fucking do that.
Guys, you have to
an
understand,
opinion,
a bone
but
marrow
holy
transplant
shit.
is one hell of a procedure. It's not like a blood donation. There's a 1 in 1 million chance that you even match the other person in order to donate to
Yeah,
them.
trusting
and the
AI
symptoms are not very
summaries
straightforward.
100%
Muscle
without
pain, bone pain,
cross-referencing.
headache, fatigue, nausea,
Oh,
etc.,
yeah.
etc. And yet, the only time Kaide said anything after her post was here, saying, where the fuck are you even getting this from? He has never donated me bone marrow. I'm genuinely getting irritated reading lies. This was a complete fabrication from the AI this person was using. And yet, even though she came out to say this person would still have the gall to reply saying, oh, people aren't buying that. Look, regardless of what you might think so far, it was obvious. Both Kaide and
And I will say the fucking penguin profile picture is just... Nobody puts that and they feel good about it and it's mutual, man. Come on. Like...
Tens were in a situation
Yeah,
that truly
stay
warranted the
offline.
saying,
Why are you
damned if you
saying
do,
anything?
damned if you don't. You say something, you get shat on. You don't, you'll get shat on anyway. The rumor mill had totally...
Yeah, but it's better to not say anything and keep the breakup private rather than like publicly igniting and putting things on the, you know, putting things on the online pedestal for people to like dissect and you know, deny or make up shit about.
Spread out of control. And people weren't simply going to believe that this was amicable, that nothing happened behind the scenes. This is also where the post I had shown you on Reddit would start to spread like wildfire on Twitter. This tweet got close to 10 million views, and they'd link both the post where Daph and Kaide unfollowed each other because Kaide was hanging out with Daph's ex, as well as the other 5-point post that was talking about Ten's and
Yo,
Kaide's
who's she thinking the
breakup.
raid?
So now it wasn't
What's
just
up?
about misinformation, like him giving his bone marrow to her. It was also about cheating, right? Getting cheated on by the girl you gave your bone marrow to has to be the most gut-wrenching shit imaginable. People had already made up their minds here. I mean, people would take it even a step further, saying this John Choi guy is screwing all these big female streamers like Extra Emily
Holy
because he also dated her,
shit!
39 Daff because he's her ex, and now Kaide when all these girls used to be friends, cold world. So now this guy was a player who couldn't keep his sausage in his pants and who was literally jumping from bed to bed. This had gotten so out of control that Tens directly quote tweeted that post we just saw of those two Reddit posts and said, okay, this is genuinely disgusting that people are still spitting out bullshit onto the timeline. There's
I mean,
some
it's
stuff I'm going
Twitter.
to
I
clear
don't-
up since people are...
And again, you... If I could have just bonked their heads together, I would have just said, stop fucking talking. Just stop. I know it's hard and you feel like you have to defend yourself, but like just don't say anything and the parasocials will stop. Because right now what you're doing is engaging with them and feeding back into the loop of giving them more fuel. Yeah.
just throwing around blind hate to push a narrative that is
Just
non-existent.
take a break for like
John
a
is
year.
a friend
People
of
will
both
fucking
mine and
stop
Kaide.
caring.
Just because they hung out on a trip that I was supposed to come out on, but had to cancel last minute with one of my best friends from high school there with them, who also is conveniently cropped out of the photo to once again push this crazy cheating story is fucking wild. Maybe before people start speculating things in a relationship they have absolutely nothing to do with, they should focus on fixing their own insecurities so it's not projected outwards.
But you farmed them. You farmed the parasocials. That's what happens. I'm sorry. It sucks. You didn't have to talk about, you know, you didn't have to show everyone in the world about your relationship.
Also, I have absolutely no clue how people started saying I donated bone marrow to her when I most definitely did not. I
Yeah.
legitimately cannot tell if this type of shit is just rage bait, but it's genuinely pretty hard for me to get emotionally charged like this. So obviously by now, these two were expecting some sort of backlash for breaking off one of the most popular content creation relationships in history, but they got completely and utterly sucker punched in the face when they realized just how much the hate was rampant. They weren't expecting this level of controversy. And while some people were wishing them the best and supporting them, others were still here to say, this is some cuck post for sure.
This is what I mean. You're not going to make them happy. Even if you, let's take it at face value. The guy is telling the truth and maybe they just grew apart. You're still trying to explain yourself and people will like make up a narrative because you're giving them the time of day to respond.
So now he went from a victim to a cuck.
Oh, she's
But here's the
making
deal.
you say
Objectively
this.
speaking,
Oh, she's
he
not
truly
making
wasn't
you
wrong
say
about
this.
this
You're
picture that was being
cocked, though.
spread everywhere. He was saying it was cropped, but if you Google image search it, it's almost impossible to find the original image. This is how quickly this had spread. There was no source to the original. I had to go to John Choi's personal Instagram to find it. This was the only way. And as you
Wow.
can see, Tens wasn't lying.
Yeah, the
His best
narrative
friend
is
was there. In
crazy.
fact, he was the guy taking this selfie. But still, just because of this picture, by the way, there are like over a dozen pictures in this. It's a photo dump. All the comments here are asking, you and Kaide dating? Making fun of the fact that they're cheating, and of course the fact that he's suspicious. Additionally, people will be spreading around this image, this chat log of Kaide on this trip saying, I'm sorry LMAO, not my fault LMAO, I'm stuck here for a day, and John got the time wrong. Me and Suvan missed the last boat, Tyson, don't be mad. This was Kaide typing in Tenz's chat back in September 2025, just a couple of months before they had
People pulling up the fucking logs, man. People don't forget.
broken
They're
up.
so parasocial.
It was in reference to how she had missed the boat along with John and Suvan during their trip that was displayed in this image, forcing her to spend one more day with them. To the people who were calling Kaide a cheater, this was evidence that Kaide was starting to cheat on Tenz, because why else would she say, please don't be mad? In reality though, if we want to be objective, she was maybe saying this because she knows he would worry, and she didn't want him to get worried over their lack of responsibility. In the end though, it's up to you to decide. The final thing that Tyson or Tenz would say during this controversy
know.
would be
I'm not
playing
unemployed
esports made me immune to
for
feeling
this.
anything from internet hate.
Not chronically
To the people
online
still
for this.
projecting, please interact with this tweet so I can collect some Twitter revenue and pop champagne tonight in honor of you. Heart emoji. And again, the top replies here are calling him a cuck. Holy cuck.
You could have just not said anything. He already said what. Why did he feel the need to do that? This is what I mean. Like it seems disingenuous. You're making light of your own relationship the whole time. Like really? Come on, buddy. I'm sorry.
And again, the top replies here are calling him a cuck. Holy cuckfest. Bro got cucked so hard he has to pretend he's happy for the fans. I'm pretty sure I have to censor that word because YouTube hates it, but
Oh,
I'm
does
sure
it
you know
now?
what a cuck is.
Interesting.
C-U-C-K. The second most liked
Cock.
reply would be, the crash out continues because your
Penis.
girl clapped another man. These people were relentless. Tenz was trying his best to keep his composure, to act calm and collected. But the parasocials would take it a step further, and they'd find out through their own crazy research that he had not taken this breakup well at all when it first happened back in December. On the OTV and Friends drama subreddit,
Oh my god! Yes! Let's go! Schizo parasocial cross-referencing. Let's go!
someone would make a post about how Tenz had created a new secret Instagram and Twitter account purely to follow a woman on December 21st that he met at a UC Davis party that was 6 hours from Los Angeles. These accounts were not secret because they were called Not Tyson. Here's the timeline of events. They
They had secret accounts and people found them?
estimate that the breakup happened around December 8th to 15th. On December
Holy
17th, he didn't have his ring
moly.
on stream. On December 20th, he streamed again and said he was going to
Oh
a party
my
with
God.
friends. Eyewitnesses report
This is why you can't keep like relationships secret either if you're even public. This is crazy.
that they saw Tenz at UC Davis in the dorm hallways at 2 a.m. on December 21st after the party. On January 5th or 6th, he would make secret Instagram and Twitter accounts called Not Tyson, and he would only have one person he'd follow who was a girl that he had met at UC Davis. The parasocials went as far as stalking this woman, going to her Instagram page and interacting with it so much to the point where she now privated it. However, that didn't stop someone from
Wow.
that same subreddit from posting an image of her and her username. Of course, I'm censoring it for the sake of her privacy, right? But I'm just saying it's there. Complete and utter disregard to the privacy of someone who has nothing to do with this. And the reason why some people bothered to mention this was because they wanted to show that Tyson wasn't taking this well, that he needed a rebound because of how heartbroken he was, that it wasn't his decision. In the end, though, who knows? Up to you to decide. Look, by this point, Tens had tried his absolute best to cover for his ex that he still cared for, but it didn't matter. This post has over 1.6 million views, 61,000 likes, saying, ending a 6-year relationship on just messages after he sacrificed his career for you and stayed loyal. Women are evil, bro. Evil. This post was made quote tweeting a clip that had nothing to do with this. It was literally the clip I told you about before, where Kaide was asking Tens, hey, can you play that game I like? And him saying yes when we move. There is no indication, there was nothing that told us that they broke up over text. Nothing. And at this point, I have to believe that this post was made purely to farm views and impressions so that they can get paid. I don't have another explanation over this. This had gotten so out of control that 39
I mean, honestly, there's probably a lot of bot accounts that fucking did this just because it went so hyper viral. Hell, like, how many of you saw this and you had no idea like what was going on? Like you saw this and you were like, who the fuck is this? Why do I care? Why do I have to care? And it's just on your timeline. Happened to me. Yeah, it happened. Absolutely happened to me. Oh, this account is from India. That makes sense. This account. But that's what they do. They farm content. That's what they do. They get a paycheck out of it.
This post was made purely to farm views and impressions so that they can get
this account
paid.
Right here.
I don't have another explanation over this. This had gotten so out of control that 39 DAF had to quote tweet Ten's tweet saying,
that's her friend that shaved her head or something when she was having cancer, or she was going through chemo, excuse me. She was having cancer. Jesus.
Please don't use me to fuel this false narrative. Me and Kaide's falling out had nothing to do with John and was over an unrelated issue we didn't see eye to eye on last year. They've been good friends with each other and I have no issues with that or with them. I don't like this heavy mischaracterization of others to push some nonsensical story. Yes, I'm no longer involved in their lives, but they are not deserving of the onslaught of slanderous dogpiling. John is not a homewrecker and Kaide never did anything malicious. That's all. So even 39 DAF, someone who had unfollowed Kaide, who had stopped being her friend around the end of 2025, was coming out here to defend them. She couldn't even stand seeing this. But of course, again, it didn't matter what anyone said. The top liked replies here are, it's okay. John Choi cracked both of you and it's okay. Thanks for reminding us that you fell out with Kaide also because of John. Damn, they paid you.
No matter what you say, that's why you just don't say anything. It's like the Emmy thing, except this is not political at all. You just don't play the game. You just can't. Sorry. Stop trying to like salvage your like you know, like trying to salvage your clout or your reputation or whatever the fuck, or like, oh, I need to keep streaming. No, you fucking don't. You probably have a couple of $100,000. You stopping to stream or like not, you going away for a year, nobody's gonna remember. Then you can go back to streaming.
Off too. No, this has to be rage bait, dude. Like even objectively, this has to be rage bait. So even 39 DAF coming in for defense wasn't doing much. So as you can imagine, when John Choi himself was forced to make a statement, this also didn't change much either. He'd come out to say, no, I'm not dating Kaide and I have never hung out with her outside of a group setting. Stop cropping photos to make it look like we have. Tyson is a friend and has stated himself that these rumors are false, so please stop sending me death threats on his behalf. Heart emoji. You want to guess what the most liked reply said? Crazy what Kaide is forcing all her men to post.
I swear these people are all fucking dumb as fuck. There's no way. You saw, maybe they're farming engagement? I actually can't tell at this point anymore. Maybe they just don't care. They're like, oh yeah, I love getting shit on.
John Choi would reply to his post, quote tweeting what Ten said, as well as link an image saying 21% of adults in the US are illiterate in 2024. 54% of adults have a literacy below a 6th grade level. 20% are below 5th grade level. Low levels of literacy cost the US up to $2.2 trillion per year. The reply right under that says, sure buddy, laughing emoji, showing John Choi wearing the same beanie that Kaide's wearing, using it as proof that they're in a relationship. I do have to say though, that the top reply to this post
okay, this is funny.
ratioed it over 6 times and said, I'm wearing the same shoes your mother wears, that must mean I'm fucking her.
Bro.
In any case, now we had reached the point where everyone, whether they wanted to be involved or not with this breakup, had to make some sort of a statement. By this point, it was February 10th. Barely 48 hours had passed since the initial breakup post from Kaide, and things had devolved to a level that had not been seen before, especially for an amicable breakup. But again, as you might have surmised by now, that didn't matter. Even after Ten's tweets, 39 daps, John Choi's everything, it didn't matter. People were still peddling the idea that she broke up with him over text, that it wasn't mutual, and there's no such thing as mutual breakups. It's a fantasy, and the vast majority is pushed by the woman. Soon you'd start to see posts like this saying, maybe the cancer will come back.
That's fucked though. Don't fucking say that. That fucking post with if I wear the same shoes as your mom, does that mean I fucked her? That's funny. This is sad.
That would be funny. And now look, as disturbing as that post is, I mean, seriously, wishing for cancer to come back over something like this is wild. This again underscores the need for me to emphasize that Kaide had not in any way defeated the cancer by now. This was another piece of misinformation that was being peddled like it's the truth. This chick literally still had cancer, but people were acting like she defeated it. And there was no shortage of vile comments like this, whether it was directed at Kaide or Tens, calling him a cuck and a million other things. And then just as you thought that maybe things were finally about to die down, maybe we could finally move on from this very stupid, incredibly blown out of proportion drama, a self-admitted pedophile would step into the ring. And he would, for some reason, make it a million times worse. Hunter Mims, otherwise known as 6CS,
Did I hear that right? Like an actual predator?
was a pro Valorant player. He actually was on the same...
Surely it's not like... Maybe this is... I'm just gonna listen. I'm just gonna listen. I'm not gonna say anything. Surely it's not that bad, right? Haha, smile.
However, he'd be kicked out of the team in 2023 when he'd be arrested following an altercation at a car dealership. A few months later, he'd be arrested again, this time for trespassing on that same car dealership. His mugshot would of course be shared all over the internet, and it was very obvious through his actions and his very erratic, crazy...
Self-admitted? So like he posted on Twitter?
tweets that this person was deeply unwell. Something had happened. It was also deeply painful for his friends and people who knew him, with Shazam, an ex-Counter-Strike pro and someone who's played in the Valorant pro scene, tweeting this out after his second arrest. Hey guys, I have Sick blocked so I can make this tweet. He's not himself right now. Please try your best to ignore his tweets and erratic behavior for now. I promise this isn't who he is. Thanks for being understanding.
Bro,
in fact, on top of this,
serious,
the Sentinel
man.
CEO would also promise to be in contact with his family in order to try and help him. But it seemed like no matter what they did, Sick didn't want to be helped. And unfortunately, it would get way worse. Sick would go on the website known as ePal.
Oh my god! Bro! ePal.gg? I know that there's so many fucking chicks that use this shit on Twitter. And they brag about how much money they make. Oh my god, it's actually unreal.
Where you can hire people, mostly women, to
you know, this is like a funnel for like people to get them on OF, right?
Video
what
games.
Is this site? You hire chicks to like play video games with you. I shit you not. Yes, this is a real thing.
With you, and that's exactly what he'd do. Except they'd have a very disturbing conversation.
It's a funnel for OF,
admit
yes.
that he was attracted to minors. This would prompt the person with him to start recording and share it online so that people can be aware that this man is a freak. This would all be revealed in the beginning of 2025. Watch for yourself.
And of course, like too young, like, yeah, like 12, 13, 14, maybe, I don't know. Like, that's really bad. And even, of course, I'm 27, so it's bad no matter what. So I won't justify it. I'm just still telling my mindset. Like, and I'm not a violent person. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a rude person. I don't do drugs. I don't really drink alcohol. I don't fucking get mad. Like, I don't insult people. I'm pretty like stable guy.
So here he was, pretty much admit.
Buddy, you didn't. Nobody put a gun to your head. You're admitting that to some fucking random girl. Yeah, like why? Like, okay, maybe you're a fucking freak, disgusting freak, but like, why would you admit that to like some random, like just some random chick that you paid money to play video games with you?
To someone he had just met, he's into 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds,
13-year-olds,
14-year-olds. He knew that this was very bad because he's 27 and tried to downplay it by saying he's not a violent person. He doesn't do drugs, etc., etc. Look, one thing was obvious. This self-admitted pedophile was a very deeply disturbed person, and he so badly needed help. And it's not like there was any shortage of it, it just seemed like he was refusing it. In any case, as this was all happening, he would decide to join in on the dogpiling of Kaide and Ten's breaking up. Again, Ten's used to be one of his teammates. He'd say, you know what I don't understand, and this is just generally speaking, how can people say, the people involved in this situation were forced to make a statement when they're engagement baiting about their own drama to begin with? You can't pick the kind of attention you get. So here he'd be linking a now apparently deleted tweet of John Choi where he was using that same picture with the frog beanie, as well as adding red eyes to himself, as well as the picture where Kaide was trying to be lighthearted, making fun of the situation on the engagement post. Seeing that this guy used to be a friend of Ten's, this of course got a lot of attention, reaching almost 1 million views. However, what was really interesting here is that once 39...
I am not terminally online enough for this.
Daff was made aware of its existence, she took it upon herself to reply to it,
in the
saying,
shitter.
Shut the fuck up. This is when Sick would say, ah yes, a very logical and in-depth response, classic rage from you. Don't make me put your friend on blast, Daff, because I easily can. Who or what exactly are you trying to defend here? I thought you didn't talk to these people anymore. She'd say, go ahead. It's not like it's a secret. Most people distance from you as a result of your erratic, unsocial behavior the past few years. I don't talk to these people, but that doesn't mean I don't find it wrong to instigate the insane mob further. Your words have weight as an ex-teammate. Delusional people are sourcing your suspicions founded on nothing to connect unrelated dots. Godspeed. Sick would then say, okay, I think you're just being a little emotional right now, but I'll go ahead and spill the beans. I'm sure Kaide will be very grateful for you. Give me 15 minutes. I wasn't instigating anything, nor was I raising suspicions. If you took one moment to read, you would see that. This is when Daff would say, in 5 minutes, I better see the spiciest beans of my life. This is when shit would truly get real. So much so that it would become a trending topic on Twitter.
My trending topics are like, VTuber says this, there's a fucking drama in the VTuber community. These people, what?
With the title, Sick and 39 Daff trade serious accusations in Kaide 10's
This is so
breakup
Valorant
drama.
coded, I don't
He
even
would
know what to say.
quote tweet one of 39 Daff's replies to him and say, Daff decided to attack me personally over her own friend's engagement baiting on the timeline, so here it is. Kaide told me multiple times in multiple ways that she wanted to experiment with other men, and that was quite some time ago, so I can only imagine what she acted on. Anyone who thinks I'm lying about this can simply go back in time. Kaide literally sat down with me in Brazil one-on-one at a restaurant, and she admitted to this when she snaked me out to an ex-girlfriend, but I promise you she wanted to cheat for years. That's a fact. He would then link a couple of images of their DMs, saying, this is the sit down I had with her that I'm referring to, by the way. We talked about many personal things on both ends. Difference is I never went behind her back, but I know what kind of person she can be behind the camera, and clearly someone has to say something. So this is back in February 2023, and here we can see Kaide saying, I hope you understand that after the conversation with you that I had at lunch, I talked to Tyson. Sick would say, I wish you the best of luck, my friend. Yes, of course, don't mind. To which she said, and we came to a consensus to talk to Karis. This was during the time that everything was already aired out on Twitter. To which he'd say what you want. Yes. She'd then say, I called her asking her side of the story, and no, I'm not going to just say what I want. Some of the conversation would be cut off here, and then we'd find ourselves with Kaide saying, Hunter, you aren't a good person, but you're making this worse on yourself. You tried cheating on Karis before Berlin.
Dude,
You've said the N-word multiple times in public in front of me,
deep
Tarek,
into
and
like
Tyson.
nothing.
All
I don't
these things could
understand
get
what's
you
going
easily
on.
canceled, and this isn't something I fucking want. This is when he'd reply with,
This is some he said she said bullshit, man. This is why I'm kind of low-key glad I'm not like, I don't know, invested in other streamers like friendships or like relationships and shit, man.
okay, I don't know anything.
Hands in 2 minutes,
do it,
I'll
man.
snooze 'em.
To which she
Thank
said,
you.
no, I won't be doing that. He would then say, for those unaware, all of this on my end has already been addressed, thanks to her yapping about it mostly, so I don't mind self-reporting to stir the pot, obviously. So what are these messages?
1.2 million views, by the way. I think I've only had a handful of tweets that have gotten maybe like above 1 million views. Yeah, probably like 5 or 6.
Exactly, other than the fact that they proved that he cheated and also said the N-word. This wasn't
Why even watch the video then, Alana? Because I'm trying to understand! Motherfucker! Context matters!
even the first time
Maybe
that
I'll
he
get it
showed
at
these
the
DMs. He actually showed
end.
all of them to completion on stream around 2023. Retake has a great video explaining all this with the title, What Happened to Sick? In a nutshell, during the major in 2023, he wasn't allowed in to support his teammates. He couldn't even go and watch. Even though he was out of the team's roster, he couldn't even go inside to watch the games
So
and
they
support
kicked him
them.
out?
This would make him start posting some erratic tweets, with many fans being concerned
Bro is like on the plexiglass, like, let me in, I'm tweeting.
over his
I'm
mental
tweeting,
health.
I'm
It didn't seem
tweeting,
like he was
I'm
doing
tweeting.
well at all. This, of course, all happened after the first time he got arrested. And then shortly afterwards, during all this, Karis, his then girlfriend, would announce on Twitter that she was breaking up with him because he had flown out
Getting publicly broken up in the year 2026 on Twitter. Nah.
a random girl to Brazil after he had a small fight with her, saying that he was lying, telling everyone that they were in an open relationship when that wasn't the case. People were also aware that he had a one-on-one
have
dinner
to
with
tell
Kaide. She was one of the only
everyone
people who
about
was
it,
willing
but
to talk
okay.
to him when he couldn't get into the venue. And this is when Six's ex-girlfriend would also add that Kaide told her that Hunter made her uncomfortable, which made many people theorize that, oh, did he actually try to hit on her? Did he try to do things to her? Months would pass, and after he would get arrested a second time, he would admit that there was something wrong with him and that he was going to go get therapy. Now that he was back, though, to Sick, this was
Okay.
about redemption and revenge. From his point of view, Kaide had ruined his relationship, all while doing the same exact things that she accused him of doing, which was cheating, wanting to be non-monogamous. He'd even emphasized this in this series of tweets. One of the last things he'd say would be, Kaide went behind my back and told people all kinds of things about me in the past. I'm tired of these women thinking they have immunity
These
to criticism.
women.
I know how evil they can be, and it's right to call them out. I will provide more information later. He hasn't done so yet.
Yeah,
Now look,
sure.
objectively speaking, these DMs, they don't really prove anything. This is a
No.
drama that, as far as everyone was
No,
aware,
this is the drama within the drama. Pedophile enters the ring and lights it on fire. Yeah.
was already solved in the past. And at the end of the day, it didn't really
Pedophile
make him look
speaks,
good.
we
It only made him
listen.
look bad for people who weren't aware about these DMs. The only thing they proved is that, yes, he cheated and he said the N-word. And Kaide, if anything, was one of the only people reaching out to him during his extremely erratic behavior. When 39Daf would see this, she'd make fun of the fact that he had no proof, saying, "You told me multiple times in the past you enjoyed sexting underage young girls. That was last year, so I can only imagine what you acted on." This was, of course, bait. And he would take it, saying, "Okay, now we are just lying."
Yeah, maybe people just don't have any impulse control. It takes a lot to rage bait me on Twitter. Like, rage baiting on stream, okay, I get it, but like on Twitter, you can just walk away.
I have never had a
Just
conversation
walk
with you in my
away.
life. Shameless, the lengths women go to try and
Yeah.
cover for each other. Unlike your claims, I have had actual face-to-face conversations with Kaide, perhaps log off because getting caught in lies won't work. She would continue to bait him and he would keep biting, with her saying, "We did have some conversations face-to-face when we did org shoots together. You kept insisting you enjoyed them younger, but I told you that wasn't okay." To which he'd say, "Still trying to gaslight me. It's simply not true. I quite literally have never spoken to you about these things or anything. Keep coping and trying to deflect the actual issue at hand." Hell, even I join in on the fun and saying, "You see, I would have believed you if Kaide was a minor, but seeing that she is over the age of 15, it's impossible that you would have been interested enough to have a conversation." And to my surprise, he'd actually reply, but then would delete his tweet. You see, someone would say, "I
didn't
respect you
even
a lot, Mujin,
screenshot
but
it.
despite all the potential evidence, you really don't think there's any chance of foul play? I'm asking you to be open-minded here." To which I would say, "Working on a video right now, and it'll cover all viewpoints objectively. But Sick is someone who admitted he liked minors, has been in jail, and is known to have erratic mood swings.
Yeah, but the jail thing wasn't related to the minors. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but still, it doesn't make him any less of a freak.
It would be a major lapse in
Yeah.
judgment to take anything he says seriously unless he has proof, which he didn't. That is simply an
He's probably
objective
just a
fact here." This
mentally
is when he
ill
would reply to me before
retard.
deleting his tweet very shortly
Slum.
afterwards, saying, in quotations, "known to have erratic mood swings. So a period of a few months 3 years ago? Anyone who knows me knows I'm actually very logical and level-headed, and my streams prove that as well, by the way." To which someone replied with, "Didn't even bother arguing against the minors thing because you know it's over." Bro, he completely ignored this point. But look, to
I
remain
mean-
completely and entirely objective here, maybe he's saying the truth. Maybe what he's saying actually happened. But due to his past history and his very self-destructive behavior, it's very hard to take him seriously. Additionally, he doesn't have the proof he claimed to have. Saying that she told you multiple times, in multiple ways, I don't know how else she would have been able to express that she wanted to experiment with other men, is one hell of an accusation when someone is in a relationship. Especially seeing how outraged Kaide was when she found out that Hunter was cheating on his girlfriend. But to the many people that had it out for Kaide, to the many people who truly believed that she cheated, they saw all of this as a great manipulation tactic by Daph, Kaide, and John to completely discredit someone saying the truth, like Sick, by calling him a pedophile, by using his background of erratic behavior.
Yeah, but they provided, not they, but like people provided proof of the video of him saying that. It's not like they made it up. I'm all for, like, I hate when people make shit up on the internet and then when you ask for a source, it's like, oh, well, that never happened. It's like, or like they say, oh, that happened, but like I don't have any proof. It's like, actually, what? That's not
and the
how it
fact that he
works.
landed in jail twice. His tweet calling out Daff has over 3.6 million views, over 13,000 likes. If anything, this only served as further proof that Kaide was a whore. And that's the only thing that mattered.
Disgusting.
After seeing all the attention that he was receiving, Sick had no intention of backing down. In fact, he chose to double down. The next day he'd go live, reassure everyone that he's doing just fine. In fact, he's feeling the best he's ever felt.
Guys,
and
I'm
would go
doing
into more
great.
detail as to what Kaide
Trust
told
me.
him specifically when they had that one-on-one talk in Brazil. Here's a couple of clips to show you. Watch.
Sick, you're clearly on the wall. These people are in the chat watching because they're finding you destroy yourself further. Seek help. Now projecting. See, that's what I mean. Projecting. Or rage bait and parasocial all in one. I've been streaming for over a year now and I've been completely normal. But I promise you, in a conversation, it happened. Okay, she said she wanted to experiment with men. She said she wanted to experiment with other girls. She said, oh, Kaide's, not Kaide, Tens is too, like, what's the word? When, like, too,
Buddy,
when
you
just
could
wanna
have
one
written this
partner,
down.
and he gets, like, too jealous. She literally said all that. Attached? No, there's like a term for when you want only one partner. I don't know.
Monogamous? Buddy!
Monogamous, yeah. She literally said she said it like it wasn't normal. He's like, oh yeah, he's too monogamous for like me to be able to like experiment with other people. I'm like, yeah, sure.
So now he was more specific as to what he was saying. In his initial post, when he said she let me know multiple times in more ways than one that she wanted to experiment with other people, this is what he meant. This clip has 15,000 views and many of the comments are actually siding with him. The logic here is simple. Why would this guy lie when he has literally nothing to lose? He has no friendships to care for, he has no team to get kicked out of, and he's really selling the idea that he's never felt better. He's known to have no filter and very easily will admit terrible things about himself, like he did with that EPAL call where he was saying that he was attracted to minors.
Yeah.
So why would he be lying about this today? On the next
Because people are fucking clout demons, just like the people that are fucking upset that the parasocials are schizoing out that they broke up and then they have to defend themselves. You feel the need to defend yourself? Like you think that they're all nasty little parasocial rats? Then don't acknowledge it? Leave it at that?
day, on February 13th, 2026, Sick would tweet
There's no clout to be gained from this. I beg to differ. I bet his viewership spiked after this drama happened. Yeah, it is. It works. It doesn't work very well, but it does.
Again about this topic, this time saying, I've watched Tens easily clutch 1 versus 5 in Valorant, but somehow he couldn't clutch a 6-year-long relationship. To be fair though, it's hard to win when the other team is cheating. This post would get over 4 million views, more than any post he's made so far. For the people who had a problem with Kaide, Sick was becoming their representative, the voice of reason who knew the truth.
Yeah, and
At the same time, though, one couldn't really deny that his behavior was becoming obsessive.
Because the parasocials feel wronged and they'll take the side even if the guy's a fucking weirdo and a freak.
Creepy even with how he was acting towards Kaide.
Sure.
And there was a reason for that. He never hid the fact that he was somewhat obsessed with her. Back during May 2023, after being arrested for the second time, he'd go through her Instagram profile, liking every single post on stream in order to try and catch her attention. Watch for yourself.
But you know, okay. Did I like this one already? No, I didn't. Okay, that's it. Wait. I like one more. She looks.
Adds in 2 minutes.
Like,
okay.
I don't know. Anyways, I'll go back.
Holy honkers.
Wait, who the fuck is this? Okay, never mind. Fuck all this. I'm closing it all. Okay, that's enough. I could call her, but actually, I need her Discord. Is she streaming? She is. But how do we spam that? I need her Discord to call her. Can someone spam? I need your Discord. What? My message wasn't posted due to the conflict with Nature Mod. Hello?
So does he truly have a problem with her? Is there a problem
Wait, he's just another parasocial.
with him mentally? And is he really doing this because he thinks it's the right thing, or because he's always had a crush on her and is happy to see her finally breaking up with Tens? As you might have guessed by now, I'll let you come up with your own opinion. Just know though that barely before I was going to upload this video, he would make this comment on Twitter. Someone would reply to his post and say, at this rate, I think you might want Kaide. To which he would say,
Yeah,
so what if
pattern of behavior. If I saw that, I'd be like, damn, that guy's down bad for her.
I do question mark.
Is that a wrong assumption?
Whatever, man. This dude is the Kanye West of Valorant. That is a fact. But Sick causing so much damage wasn't the only
Doesn't
thing
say
that
the
Kaide
N-word
and
enough.
Tens had to worry about, because the parasocials would find something very interesting that was on none other than Tens' own subreddit. Someone had made a thread back in October 22nd, 2023 with the title, Kaide cheating on Tens. I saw Kaide cheating on Tens at TwitchCon. I swear I'm not lying. Believe me, she is a cheater.
Oh my
I saw it
God.
with my own eyes.
Holy.
Back then, this had 166 upvotes, 76 comments. Today,
Ads have hit us. Okay. Fuck. Okay. I really need to pee anyway. There's another, what, 4 minutes of this. Damn it, we almost made it through.
it has over 325 upvotes, 129 comments. People found it and started interacting with it, saying that this person was a messiah. Many of the comments left back then were doubting him. Now people are praising them.
You're the messiah, finding out if our favorite parasocial couple freaking broke up.
It
She
seems
has 1 million followers? Holy fuck.
like no matter what Kaide could ever do, no matter what Tens could ever do, no matter what anyone could ever hope to do, there was no convincing some people that she didn't cheat. They were already convinced and nothing was going to change their minds. This amicable breakup that was figured out in private was now one of the biggest controversies the internet had ever seen over rumors and conspiracies. But seeing that the same people who made conspiracies were right about her breaking up with Tens,
Yeah.
then to many people it only
Parasocials will take that as a W.
made sense that they were also
Yeah.
right about her being a cheater. That's the morbid reality of how the internet works. Look, in conclusion, this entire thing blew out of proportion the moment that both Kaide and Tens started messing around on Instagram. I truly don't understand why they would do that. With their experience being content creators for many years, I really don't get.
I disagree. I think the root problem of this is that when you put your relationship so publicly and you farm it, and that's like your actual unironic brand. She literally started streaming because she was with him. Like, let's not get it twisted. There's like a graph here where she started streaming pretty much right after he got popular, and yeah, like I'm not saying they deserved it. Absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't think they deserve to get fucking hammered like that, but like you should have expected the backlash and just dealt with it. Maybe shut up. Also, that's a big thing. Like, you guys went off the fucking his izzy, fucking defending yourself against fucking parasocials. And the more you fucking put gasoline on the fire, the more it got worse. Like, really?
What went through their heads.
They went on
Maybe
the
they
hizzy.
underestimated just how much of a big deal their
The
relationship
bazzazzle.
was to the internet. Maybe they were going through such a
Instagram
heartbreak that
thing
they
is
didn't
whatever.
think clearly. But overall, this was a major lapse in judgment. When this happened, and when Tens pretty much confirmed their breakup after streaming without the ring, the parasocials already knew that they had broken up. They had already moved on to how they broke up. This didn't allow Kaide or Tens to have control of the narrative of their own breakup story. So by the time she came out with her post, it was already too late. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Nothing was going to change that. And it seemed like the breakup vibes were contagious, because Kaide's sister, who had also blown up with Jason the Ween due to their public relationship,
Okay, that's why.
had also broken up very shortly afterwards. Barely 24
Okay, that's fucking retarded. What?
hours after Kaide posted her breakup message. They of course would get way less backlash since her older sister was taking all the hate, but the timing was definitely
No, that's not why. It's probably because she's less popular. No, I disagree. I think it's because she's really popular and she had a really fucking public relationship. Like, yeah, sure, maybe 5 to 10%, but like, it is sure as fucking weird that they both broke up at the same time.
definitely interesting, and I'm sure the conspiracy theorists are going to have a very
Jason's
fun
pretty
time
popular,
dissecting
not as popular as those two combined.
why this happened. But overall, if there's anything to learn from this, never reveal your relationship to the public when you are a public personality, because as soon as you do, it's not your relationship anymore. You lose complete control over it. People get into relationships and break up all the time. It's just the nature of being a human being, especially in the 21st century. But as a content creator, you're
tabloids farm like relationship breakups with celebrities and stuff, and that shit fucking sucks. It's just that this was to the extent where you farmed, you made YouTube videos about how awesome your relationship is, and then people got all turbo fucking invested. People get parasocial, and then it exploded in your face, and you were not happy about it.
as a perfect person, so you're not allowed to be human. You can't just get into a relationship and break up. You'll be called all sorts of things. You're not allowed to make mistakes. Both Tens and Kaide benefited greatly from this. But once it ended, now they're going through one of the worst times of their lives. This is why many choose to keep their relationships private. And honestly, it could just be me, but I feel like ever since this year started, Twitter has been overly vile lately, like more than usual. Maybe because
the algorithm, bro. I've noticed it too, to be honest.
Of some of the algorithm changes, but that's just something I've personally noticed. Let me know if you've come to the same conclusion in the comments. In any case, thank you so much for watching until the end. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to use the code MUJIN to get 10% off your next purchase on Gamersubs, and I'll see you in the next video whenever that is. I love you so much, platonically. Mwah.
I don't care that you're past your prime years. You don't have to be 13 to date me, so call me soon. Ah, man. Yikers, bro. Yikes. That was a good video, though. Overall, great yap session. Very good. Go check out Mujin. Yeah. I'm announcing that me and Mujin are breaking up. Damn it. How did I not know that you were in a relationship? It's almost like you didn't announce it publicly. Yeah, like when did, I kind of want to look it up now. Kaide. How do you spell her fucking name? Kaide. She started in streaming in November 2022. And then Tenzi started streaming in... Or is it Tenzi? Oh, that's not the right one. Tenzi started streaming in April. That's when he blew up. So he was streaming before that, like he said, and then Valorant happened, which was April 2022. And he exploded by May, and then a few months later, it's not like they both were streaming at the same time. She definitely farmed that shit. She did. Yeah. Big Tuck video? Oh, look at that. I love The Sims. Maybe we'll watch that later. Yeah. That looks pretty good. I do like talking about shitting on EA and stuff. Yeah. Is it bad? I had no fucking idea whether any people were in the video. No, I had no idea until this video, basically. Like, I saw the Twitter posts and stuff, and I was like, who the fuck are these people? 500,000 followers, 1 million followers? How do I not know these people? And I was like, oh, they're Valorant players. That makes so much sense. That was pretty much my reaction. I was like, oh, I see. It's people that I don't engage in their content. Understood. I'll keep it to myself, I suppose.
Fire, 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 fire.